This is the issue of trust. People in general don't trust AI. They already learned all that hallucinations, all that nuances, and they don't trust AI in general. It takes time. They need a couple of years more to live with this.
Most dentists aren't trained to run businesses, let alone scale them. This is the TechDental Podcast for dental leaders who want more than just tips. We give you systems, strategies, and straight answers. I'm Dr. Randeep, and each week I sit down with the operators, AI founders, entrepreneurs, and business leaders who are reshaping what's possible in dentistry. If you want a smarter, scalable, future-proof practice, then this is the podcast for you. Welcome to the TechDental Podcast, where we explore how AI and emerging technologies are reshaping the way traditional industries think, work, and grow. Today's episode is a special founder-to-founder conversation. I'm privileged to be joined by Sergey Osipov, co-founder of Placy AI and one of Europe's most experienced tech entrepreneurs. Sergey has built and exited multiple companies, from AdTech and digital marketing to Cian, a PropTech platform that hit a $1.1 billion IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. And now he's reinventing the real estate model again with AI-powered agents. Sergey, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, hi, folks.
Let's dive straight in. You've built across several tech eras, AdRevolver, Cian, and now Placy. When you look back, what patterns stand out in how each wave of technology reshapes old industries?
It may look quite different, all that startups, but actually all of them based on, this is a tech startups, first of all, and something around users, user experience, clicks, funnels, products, monetization, online stuff, and so on and so forth. So in my view, all that companies that I founded, they're quite similar in terms of, you found your problem that you could solve, you find your clients. It may be some B2B clients, like 100 clients, or it may be 12 million clients of the large marketplace. That's no big difference. And then you try to make them happy, to entertain them, to retain them, then to monetize them a bit, then in order to make your investors happy. And in this process, in the end, maybe you can get your honest penny at the end.
And talk to me about, like, you've described the portal era as being over. What problem in real estate was just too big to ignore? The one that kind of pushed you to pivot from listing platforms to AI agents?
It's again about clients, about users. Half of the internet visits today on our websites, on the portals, that's actually robots. It's crawlers, scrapers, indexing machines of some big engines, and all this stuff. Majority of them are still kind of this, not human. They are not buyers, let's say. We cannot escape, we cannot close websites to visit, and this is the inevitable evil. Historically, it was kind of inevitable evil. However, you see the last year, the fast growth of the traffic from ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, and other AI chatbots. And it's not just scrapers or indexing robots. It's a real people who use AI assistants to visit your site, to make some deal with you, maybe to make some small purchases on Amazon already. So I recently installed Perplexity browser, Comet. And it's fantastic how it does its work. Much faster using Amazon and all. So definitely, I'm not sure that I can trust Comet with my bank passwords. However, I've already gave it my Amazon password, and it already makes small purchases, like something for pets, some books and all that stuff. It's just amazing how it works. And today we see that more than a half of internet visitors are actually robots. And bigger and bigger part of this group, real buyers, real clients. And we cannot just skip them. We should address that. We should build the interface which will be comfortable for them, because this is a new type of clients, right? Instead of human. Maybe in some 5 years, it will be just 15 and 20% of real humans in the internet. And the majority of visits will be done by their robots, their AI assistants. And what I mean, see, The traditional real estate marketplace, for example, like Rightmove, Zillow, Cian, whatever, it's constructed for people. And the main business model is the users pay for promotion of their listings to the first pages because, people are quite lazy. They never clicked 35 pages. So you need to pay money to promote a listing on the first page, right? But say, talking about robots as a new client base, robots are not lazy. In case you appoint your AI assistant to find flat to rent for you, so it will click everything, all the 100 pages, and will take the particular relevant listing to you, not that one which is paid on the first page. So it just a very short explanation why large marketplaces right now in danger. So they have to change, and it's very, very difficult to change because, first of all, nobody knows how to entertain robots. We know how to entertain people. We know how to make branding for people. So historically, marketing budget is split half performance, half branding, right? But okay, how we can make performance for robots? How you could buy robots on the internet? No idea. How you can make branding for robots? So YouTube video, television, billboards on streets and so on? Nobody knows really. So for a small startup, it's much easier to find step by step that way, how you challenge the last big marketplaces. This is a very right moment to challenge each and every industry, and specifically large real estate marketplaces, with my experience. So when I realized that, I just couldn't sleep anymore. So it was just necessary to launch another startup. So that's how we launched Placy. Actually, Placy AI real estate agent, my current startup, was launched with my ex-Cian team. This is the core team, is the people from that unicorn real estate marketplace from my previous life.
That's awesome, Sergey. And it's interesting because I think, dentistry also is built on relationships, and it's a service based business, although in healthcare, but there's similarities with real estate there as well, because we're also in a portal phase in the dental industry where many systems, they're digitizing, they're not fully automating yet, and now AI is coming in and disrupting everything, because you've got AI agents and people are building lots of AI agents to do things. But so what really you're saying is that the infrastructure is built really to deal with human traffic and built to actually formulate plans and formulate actions built on the human data coming in. But now with the robot agents coming in, it's really going to be a completely different field of play, because they're, as you said, like, they don't sleep, they don't rest, they're going to click on every single page, they're going to scour the whole website. So really, the old way that the infrastructure is built, is, from what you're saying, is it's ripe for disruption, because it's not going to work in a few years' time. So if you've got a certain website, or as a dentist, you have like your practice website, if this is not fully integrated or fully updated to take into account the mass of AI agents that are coming in, your Google listing or ranking, whatever, is going to be meaningless now.
It might be some similarities. So what we already built in Placy, it might be a bit applicable for dentistry as well. The Placy, this is the AI lady on reception of real estate agency. She just answers all the calls, messages. She connected to the company's CRM, WhatsApp business account, mobile phone, and she actually makes all this business transparent, making all the frictions, records all the frictions in CRM. When someone answers the call in the office, she listens and put again everything to CRM. So this, first of all, this is the huge automation, actually, wave of such assistance for any office, for the dentist, for real estate agent, for everyone, actually. So it might be done quite easily. Transparency, follow-up calls, to change an appointment calls and so on. I guess it should be automated quite fast. And call centers seems to me were automated first 3 years ago with ChatGPT 3.
So that's already been done.
So you could add one more model to your financial assistant, kind of the receptionist on the dental office.
I think that's being done. It's coming in dentistry now. There's people have cottoned on to the fact that if you can save this bottleneck that happens at reception, and you let the receptionist focus on the patients which are actually in the practice and deal with them face to face, and all these hundreds of calls and things that are coming in, you can have the agents dealing with those and prioritizing those and triaging those. It really increases the efficiency, and you end up like you end up coming back to all the potential customers and all the potential leads, so you're not losing anything. You're not having those leaks in the system.
The keyword actually losing. Statistically, what I support. Placy in production already more than a half of the year, so we have huge statistics already, and I see exactly the very, let's say, about 30% of calls and requests are really lost. They are not answered, surprisingly, in real estate at least. So they just miss calls, they just don't follow up, they just forget to do something, and sometimes they don't understand the language of so here in the Mediterranean countries, approximately 30-35% of real estate are bought by foreigners, Chinese investors, Arabian countries, some Russian guys, and so on, and their English sometimes is almost unrecognizable. So and the human receptionist usually lose those leads, but Placy understands everything because AI can understand really any pronunciation, surprisingly. So no, I mean that's a real scale of industrial revolution. Just don't lose approximately 1/3 of your leads. This is a problem. I guess maybe in your industry, maybe I hope it's less than 30%, but in any case, I'm sure it's significant.
Yeah, I would say it's significant. The exact figures are difficult to track, but I wouldn't be surprised actually if it's slightly even more than 30%, because it's again like you're having like multiple people calling up, and you've got a limited number of receptionists. And you've got people who are waiting for appointments in the waiting room, and it's like a fairly high stress environment. People are nervous, so I would say like 30% is a huge figure in real estate. I would say it's probably slightly more in the dental industry. And it's interesting that you said about the AI. It doesn't differentiate between like languages and accents and things like this. So it's amazing that you suddenly become like open to like international business, right? Then if you've got like if you've got like this AI receptionist or somebody handling the front of office, you really open up the other revenue channels as well, not just like from UK based. If somebody might be passing through on holiday, coming to the country, and they suddenly have like a dental emergency, and they ring you up, and most of the other practices, they will either not answer your call or they won't be able to understand. But if you have the one with the AI receptionist, they will get your business. So I love that. But I need to dig out that statistic. But 30% is huge. That's huge. And I would say, how everything that you've done with AI so far, where has AI surprised you? So either in like a brilliant or maybe even slightly like terrifying way, something that maybe that you didn't anticipate. Where has it really surprised you?
The scale of this industry, the scale of impact, really surprising me. And the 30% of your business it's a surprising figure. So the real productivity that comparing with some another technologies like virtual reality, for example, blockchain, it was huge hype 15 years ago. But see what happened. So how blockchain changed our life? Actually, I see no significant change. Almost everything can be done just with a normal database approach without any blockchain. In this case, it doesn't look like hype because it's a real scale of industrial revolution. So the impact of everything is huge, and this is a very unique moment. I remember my first websites in the late 90s that I sold to the first customers when I started doing these startups and internet. it was the same feeling. It's something huge just came to the planet, and I have to attend it. I just cannot sleep. So and last couple of years, I feel completely similar.
Yeah, I mean, I have a similar feeling, because even within the dental industry as well, there's those who are saying like, "Oh, AI, it's it's another hype technology. It's like going to be a huge bubble, and then yeah, it'll go away." But what I'm seeing really is that the tools have very real impact, and you can measure that impact really from day one. And you mentioned like missing the 30% of missed calls. Similarly, in the dental sector, I mean, if you put something straight away as a call agent, hitting your customers back up or generating leads, it's so that's why I think it's not hype. Yes, there is a lot of noise around it at the moment, because it's a slightly nascent technology and it's accelerating so fast. But I would tend to like agree with you really. Like there's a feeling that it's going to go very, very far. It's very disruptive, and it's much faster than the .com or any other technology that came before it. And I think that's where it's different with blockchain. It's fairly complicated to get your head around, and people don't know what the real world kind of impact is in everyday environments. But something like AI it can really disrupt all industries like real estate, dental, healthcare, fintech. It's something which you can prove the return on investment pretty much straight away. As soon as you implement something, you can see in front of you the stats of how many more patients you are seeing, or how many more buyers you're getting for the property there. And I think in dentistry as well, and it'd be interesting to pick your brains about the real estate market, because what I'm learning is that AI must support the human judgment, not replace it. So there's always going to be a human in the loop there. Whether it's for a dental patient or a property buyer, trust remains the currency. So what's your view from property side of things? Like what proportion is going to be AI automated, and which proportion is going to be human in the loop?
In my calculations, the major part of real estate agent job can be really automated. The only point that cannot be automated is to open the door when you show the property, and just to chat, to establish the social connection with the client. So it's still important. But it's like 10-15% of the real job of real estate agent. The major part taken by sending SMSs, receiving calls, driving to the place of open the door, and so on. Making records in CRM, chatting with the boss, and all that stuff. So as we've already collected all that info. So roughly 80% of this job can be automated. But right now, the main challenge of the industry, and your industry as well, by the way, because right now I'm going to talk about the administrative view on the industry, is the following. A lot of companies feel that they need to try AI. A lot of early adopters, B2B businesses. And they subscribe to some assistants like Placy or maybe your service. And right now, they still keep their stuff, they keep their operations, their workflow, they change actually nothing. They just add one more virtual employee in case of Placy, a lady realtor on reception of the agency, right? So their business actually, yes, in the same incoming traffic right now, they have 30% more real deals because Placy doesn't lose calls. But from the budget point of view, costs just increased because they need to pay, 6,000 euro per year to Placy. It's not huge, but it just adding cost. This is not correct approach of using AI. The right approach, and we will see that during the next several years, can be called like full stack AI company. When you build something from the scratch, when you appoint robots, first of all, on all the places, on all the functions that can be done by robots. So you cannot replace CEO. You need at least fractional CFO. You need some real estate agents to open the doors. But the major part can be done by robots and start from robots and allow robots, let's say, to hire people, not vice versa. And the efficiency of this business might be not just 30% on your leads, might be threefold, might be fivefold from the financial point of view. And this is completely another story. And I'm afraid that the leaders of the traditional industries, they just don't get this. They just pay for one more subscription and they think everything is done. The box is ticked. They relax. They tried.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a real powerful thought actually, because if you structure this correctly, what you're saying is that you could have the major part of your organization automated, and then the humans there, they are there really to then curate the vision, the strategy of the business, and do those human centric tasks that they really need to do, the customer facing and building the business. But that's amazing. So it was the AI stack. So what you're saying is that the industry leaders or the owners of these businesses, they really need to, so they're not thinking about AI the right way. They're thinking about it as just another tool they buy and they put it there and it. But what you're saying is that they need to rethink the entire workflow. So AI is not just like a tool they buy and they click it in, but it will only work if the business is structured to leverage that AI.
Why it's important, see, because when those businesses try AI right now, what they want to be more competitive. They want to survive. They're afraid and so on. But when they just subscribe to one more AI tool, it doesn't help them to solve their problem, because it's still plenty of young startups, AI first startups, full stack AI company startups in the future, that they will kill those businesses, those old school businesses, inevitably. So it's not enough just to tick the box and to subscribe for 1 to 3 instruments with AI. It's necessary to fundamentally change their old school businesses, and this is the main issue.
I agree. I think it's always when I've been speaking to like practice owners and leaders from the dental business side of things, I think really because it's such a new technology, they are thinking from a slightly different, maybe slightly outdated perception. But you almost need to change the perspective and the perception of what AI can actually do. So it's not really like, I would say it's not even a tool, right? I don't know how you would describe it, a tool or a system. But it's really a fundamental disruptor of business models. That's the way I see it. That before you even implement the tool, you are going to need to, as an organization, get together with your senior leadership and board and say, right, this is going to disrupt our business model. So we need to make sure that our business model is actually is structured for that disruption. Otherwise, at worst, what it's going to be is it's going to be a waste of their money, like it's an extra tool. And then they're going to look at the stats and say, well, it's not really saving us any money, but they haven't incorporated it in the correct fashion. Yeah, it's a systemic change, I think, that needs to happen. And I believe it needs to happen in people's perception first before they start to incorporate anything in. Otherwise, it's not going to be as effective. Sergey, what's been the hardest barrier that you've seen? Is it legacy tech that's already in place in an organization, cultural habits, or a fear of automation and AI? What obstacles have you come up with that maybe people are telling you that actually we're not ready to implement this, or they just don't understand where it can work?
I think this is the issue of trust. I mean, general speed of adoption of AI tools, AI systems. People in general don't trust AI. They already learned all that hallucinations, all that nuances, and they don't trust AI in general. It takes time they need a couple of years more to live with this. So the good example is, you remember in 2000s, everyone had credit cards, but nobody really paid it online. Because, my card can be stolen and so on. So people still prefer to make, cash payments. However, technically, it was possible, 20 years ago, it was technically possible. But then, some 5-10 years, and right now, everyone pays online. It's no question at all. So, the same with AI. Technically, AI can work without hallucinations right now when you use some paid tools. Hallucination, this is right now the burden of the free products, first of all, is necessary to understand. So in the very specific areas, in the industry vertical startups like Placy, for example, we've already solved this problem a year ago with the knowledge base, with the specific prompts, with some technical solutions, let's say. So technically, AI, we can trust AI in the so many cases already. No, at least to make some small purchases on Amazon. I just tested it with Comet. It works perfect. However, the society needs a couple of years more, and I would say that this is the main blocker right now. So they are very slow with this mass adoption. In our technical minds, everything already happened. We watched each next OpenAI Dev Day presentation, and we think, oh, this is fucking future. It's already here, and the clients in the fields still use the mobile phones like Nokia with the buttons, and what kind of AI?
Yeah, and again, it's also like when you've got legacy systems in place, people are used to doing something for like 10, 20 years. And yeah, same in dentistry. I think the practice owners and they're used to doing things a certain way, and they've been doing that way for 10, 15, 20 years. And it's difficult to then articulate the value proposition of something as new and disruptive as AI. So yeah, I agree. And even in our dental industry, it's the fear of kind of automation, and also what are the risks if it goes wrong. And yeah, it's so I think it's the burden of proof, almost like, I think as AI founders, we have to, it's really on us to kind of educate the market and to kind of change that perception and win that trust. Because yeah, without that trust, like first the tool is not going to be adopted, or the system is not going to be adopted. And then if it is adopted, people want to keep it in place. They want to know that there are systems there's guardrails there to protect the organization. So there's like, it's not that the AI is going to infiltrate and take over everything and something's going to go wrong. There's a way that you can actually switch it off. And so it's interesting. How's the data in the real estate sector? Because in the dental sector, our problem is that these practices, they all have practice management systems and they hold so much data, but the teams are still reliant on like old-fashioned spreadsheets and manual tracking of data, and they have workflows where they do things manually. So I think AI adoption is technically, like you said, it's there. The technology is there now, but it's the adoption which is a trust challenge. So it'd be interesting to get your perspective on how you found data and how people are doing things. What are the existing workflows?
It seems to me that dentists and realtors both, they don't care about data seriously. So this type of the business is so client oriented. So the client is the king, and everything that you should do, it just do something to make client happy, right? So they should use some CRMs. They should be very polite. They should be very open, and kind of this one. But it's not about data. It's something different. Let me ask you, about your industry. As I've already shared with this in this conversation, that's the future of realtors is actually to automate their job 80% and to replace at least half of people in the real estate sector, in the selling. People who sell in the future by robots. How AI would change your industry? Okay, so a receptionist is done. So some financial operations may be done by AI. Some vendor management, buying some stuff for this service again, but process itself. So how doctors actually use it? How it changed the nature of their business, or not significantly changed. So you're interested in just about that. Administrative stuff around, but nobody really expects to change the core part of the business.
I think in dentistry is really interesting because people are talking about AI, and then you can replace the people who are doing that function. I think in dentistry it's slightly different because things are done in such an inefficient way. The resources are allocated so inefficiently. So for example, if you have the receptionists who are missing so many leads, the 30% plus of leads on the phones just because they're busy. It's not about that the AI is going to get rid of you needing a receptionist, because the patients still want that human touch, and you still need to have that trust, especially in a healthcare setting. But what it is that if you can free up the existing admin team or reception team to actually help you with the people who are in your building, waiting, and actually help them, then the AI handles the rest. What will happen is that you will actually increase the revenue coming into the practice. So because you'll be able to allocate so many more appointments efficiently, you'll be able to reactivate old patients or old leads as well. And it's interesting with the financial side of things, because if you have some sort of a financial platform which is plugged into the back end and it's automating those finance functions, because usually it's the dentist who owns the practice, but they're also still seeing their patients. So they're kind of balancing two hats. They are trying to see the patients, do the dentistry, and generate the revenue from that side. But then they're also having to spend hours and hours and hours of a week on the admin and the finance stuff. And if they are spending hours doing that, they're not allocating that time to actually seeing the patients, which is what is going to be driving their business forward. So I think in dentistry, it's not about replacement of people as such, but it's about a strategic reallocation of human resources. So the humans which are currently there, you may be able to reduce the team significantly, but you will still need a core member of the team there to do the human-centric stuff. But it really frees up the decision makers to make the decisions properly, and also to have data presented to them in such a format almost instantaneously, and the AI shifts through everything. So they're not wasting those hours doing the admin. The admin is done for them, and it's done to a much higher accuracy because the AI is connecting all the dots. Scaling a business isn't a dream, it's a decision. This is the TechDental Podcast. And if you found value today, follow, share, and subscribe. This is the edge every dental leader needs.